Hello, this is Team PolyJunkies, and for this week's update, we have a few things we want to share, and won't be as long as last week, but there's a few things we want to cover. So the focus from Alpha is to really begin polishing and getting things to a final stage. Um, so at the moment, the current the biggest focus at the moment is getting the terrain to a state that we're happy with. At the moment the terrain's still in the alpha stage, but we are currently working on a solution to getting a better textural density on these rock faces. So as of today, Thursday the 20th of March, we've begun, today was spent, a long time was spent trying to, or myself trying to work out exactly how this texturing and modelling process is going to proceed. There was a lot of time spent in the labs today talking and discussing with Rob about exactly how this is going to work, and I was a bit confused, and our team as well was a bit confused exactly how to approach the terrain. We knew we wanted to get the various snow build up as well as the exposed rock, but in order to achieve that result we weren't that sure. So anyway, I've kind of got the gist of how this is going to plan out. There's still a few teething problems I have to sort out in terms of getting the textures to tile correctly and exactly how these textures are going to look. So right now, as of now, I've built a very basic rock snow texture, and essentially we will have maybe one or two tile textures which will then start to mold the terrain to the texture. That's what we've kind of done here. So from a top down view we get some various ridges in the terrain, and then where these sort of level off obviously be snow build up. So that's what our main focus is at the moment. It's still a little bit of a challenge at the currently. Tomorrow, Friday the 21st, we will definitely be looking at this further and trying to nail this completely, as it is the main thing, really, the biggest hurdle at the moment, and that will allow us to then proceed into doing more passes onto further polish. But that's kind of the biggest thing that's in the works at the moment. In terms of the plan of when this will get done, depending on the outcomes of tomorrow, hopefully we will finally get down the exact workflow of how we're going to approach building the terrain as well as how we're going to texture it. That's kind of almost there. Again, there's still a few teething problems that need to be worked out, and I have been trying to tackle this since Wednesday. Basically, it's been a discussion since Wednesday or Tuesday, Monday in fact, of exactly how to do this. And I think also there's been a new example that Rob posted on the forum, and I think that's also something. Well, basically the method we are planning to do. But again, it's trying to just, for me, for some reason, I just cannot wrap my head around it completely. But I think I'll get there eventually. Anyhow, that is where the terrain's at, and hopefully that will all come into play in the next few days. Maybe if not tomorrow, we'll let you know the update of tomorrow how that goes. So apart from that, with the terrain being the main focus, we've currently got the bosses being textured. That today that was being started. I do not have an exact update on that at the moment, but I know Alex is working hard on that, trying to get that ready. And the other big update this week is we went ahead and decided to light map all our meshes. So this was a little bit of a task because in retrospect we weren't quite aware of how Unity's light mapping system worked, and then we did know that it has the automatic generation. However, it made more sense to uniquely unwrap all the meshes and have a second UV channel. That way the light mapping bake would be consistent, as well as hopefully have clean results. So that was a big test this week. So Chris was working on, or myself and Chris were working together to unwrap all the meshes, have their second UV channels, and that's really what helped, in general, sell the effect of, say, like the bunkers and or the military base sit on the terrain a bit better. It's still a little bit low res, but this is just a few test bakes we're working on, and so that's all coming into play. And already it looks pretty good in terms of the shadows of the alien pipes and the drills sticking out of the terrain there. So yeah, again, this is not final, that we're still working on the terrain at the moment. I might talk about what approaches we made and some findings we found of some conflicts we found in terms of workflow. I'll talk about that in a sec, but the other thing is we've gone ahead and added a bit of snow on some of these textures, so specifically more or less the objects that sit on the ground, so like the station, this hangar here, the bunker, and the tunnels, and the helipad. Another small thing I've added, I've just wanted to quickly see, it didn't take too long to implement, but we've got some form of the train running along the track. So that's a very basic idea of how that works. It just moves along. Nothing too special there. And yeah, we've gone ahead. When we did do the remap of all the meshes, some of the things have been changed slightly and moved. And also we got another asset. The new asset is these alien pods that have landed, and we'll be using them as well to spice up the environment. Yep, and let me check my list. So yeah, terrain's probably the biggest hurdle that we really need to tackle. It's just been a big problem at the moment. So kind of going into some more details about how we've approached that. We thought we had the correct means of doing this by doing a fairly interesting sculpt and then using those sculpting details to bake to a texture and then build a tile texture around that. However, from today we found that was probably counterintuitive. It's kind of hard to describe where we were going with that. I don't know whether or not that was worth our time. We did look at your texture, and that was we kind of get the idea where you're coming from as well. And I think we've also had input from other students and Rob as well and John about how to exactly tackle it, which was just trying to work out the right means. Again, it would probably be on the basis of something like this, where we have these modular sections that we can use along the edge, because once you leave the screen you're not going to see the tiling so much, and we will break this up we have got a second texture. Well, I've made a second texture at the moment that tiles along as well, so we can manipulate the geometry there and get some interesting terrain surfaces, hopefully. Again, still a work in progress. It's just it's just been really difficult to work out and wrap my head around it. But hopefully tomorrow that's something will be solved. It's a big learning experience again, and yeah, that's about it in terms of updates at the minute. We're really focused on getting the art at a good level before we start doing any more advanced things, and yeah, that's about it. So thank you for that. Don't think I've forgotten anything. Nope, that's all. That's all for now. Cheers.